Hi, this is my Module 1 presentation for AEP 855. I am Chelsea Campbell. So a little bit about me. Currently, I am the high school geometry teacher at Santa Fe Trail High School. This is my first year at Santa Fe Trail, my 6th year teaching, however. I guess my first year at Santa Fe Trail is kind of over now because school has been moved to online for the rest of the year, so I actually won't be physically in school with my students. It's a little sad. However, I've survived my first year at Santa Fe Trail. I do love it there. We are the Chargers, and we are a redesign school in the state of Kansas. So that has been really fun to go through and figure out that process. All right, so a little bit more about me. I've been married for 3 years now. That's my husband. We have one son, that's Kristaps, and our daughter is due in May. So I'm currently about 7 months pregnant. I have 2 dogs and 1 cat. The dog you see there, his name is Cujo. He's the cutest German Shepherd ever. And then we have an English Bulldog and then a Siberian cat. All right, moving on to the coursework questions. Okay, so 3 types of mindsets. So all students can learn. This is something that I am actually still learning about. This is something that was presented to us at the beginning of this school year. And I was definitely on the opposite sides. All students need to want to learn in order to learn. Not all students could learn. So if the want's not there, I didn't feel like they could, but my mind has been changing to all students can learn. Teacher collaboration over isolation, super important. My very first school I was at was really, really focused on teacher collaboration. And then all of a sudden, the principal completely isolated me, removed me away from all of my peers for some reason. I wasn't told why. And you know what? 9 months later, I told them I'm leaving. So the minute that they isolated me, I was out. So I completely agree that teacher collaboration is important. And then happiness and optimism, extremely important, especially if you want to continue to build and grow. Things are going to get crazy when you're trying to change things. So everyone needs to feel like they can be supported, they can struggle through it together, but in the end, they know it's going to be fine because you have this optimistic out view. The 5 types of dispositions. So confidence, you got to be confident. You got to be a risk taker and decisive. I definitely believe that. If you don't go for it, then you're never going to get anywhere. Sense of humor, I definitely respect more when my administration can laugh with us, not just yell at us. Empathetically assertive. So instead of just focusing on the negative, you got to praise the positive and then coach others through negativity. Like I mentioned, we are a redesign school, so there's a lot of changes that are going on at my school right now. And of course, there are people that aren't willing to change. And I think my principal does a really good job of focusing on the people that are willing to change and then try and just push the other ones, coach them to just do one simple change. Maybe not the whole thing like some of us are doing, but just one simple change. And then to be a learner. So you should always make sure that you're doing effective strategies. There's always new things coming out. Education is always developing new. We're learning more and more about the brain each day. So you should always be a learner. The 3 types of practices, you focus and prioritizing. So accomplish the goals and objectives or making progress is the most important. Examining feedback and data, pursue meaningful data, and collaborate with teachers over what needs to change based off of that data. And then emotional intelligence, you need to constantly reflect on interactions with others and how that interaction was perceived. Did you come off good, bad? Do you need to maybe have another meeting about what just happened? Fully agree with data. Data is super important. How do you know that your students are learning if you can't prove that they are learning? How do you know that your students are growing if you can't prove any growth? So definitely believe with data. Obviously, you can't say that you're accomplishing a goal or making progress towards that goal if you don't have the data to back that up. And then emotional intelligence, you do want to make sure that your staff perceives you well. You'll get a lot more done if your staff is on your side. Okay, 8 principles of leadership. So personal courage, you have to be willing to stand up. Public interest ahead of self. So obviously the school, the students, everyone else kind of comes before you, what you want. If it's better for them, if it's better for your students, better for your teachers, it's better for the school. Self-control, self-discipline, and integrity. So all of those are needed in order to be considered ethical. And then if you're ethical, then you have respect. Task and employee centeredness. So along with everyone else before you, you have to put them first. So student and staff success builds the strongest foundation. So our foundation is from those, the student and the staff. So as long as you are building them up and you have them ready to go, that will make your school the most successful. You need to be able to recognize talent. Bringing in new people is a part of the job, so you need to make sure that you're able to recognize anyone with talent, and then recognize success and make sure you place people to maximize their potential. Okay, requiring high ethics from everyone. All staff are held to high ethical standards, so you need to make sure that everyone is at that same high ethical level. You can't have somebody bringing everyone else down. Sensitivity and understanding are necessity for equity. So everyone has things that they're going through, so you want to make sure that you are perceived as being understanding, you're sensitive to their situation, and you're willing to adapt. Inclusiveness, so respect and trust allows for others to feel like they belong as a member of the school. So you want to make sure that everyone feels like they're welcomed at your school. Everyone feels like they are important. They need to show up every day in order for this school to function because they're such an important part. So my personal reflection of myself when I was reading these traits, I feel like I do have most of these traits. I have had some leadership positions before. I was the head coach at my old school. So I have that head coach interacting with parents. So I do feel like I do have some leadership traits in me. My previous school versus my current school. So like I said, my previous school really, for some reason, started to isolate teachers instead of collaboration. So I completely agree with that. Teacher collaboration is super important. My current school, we don't really do too much teacher collaboration. However, it is on the horizon. It is something that we push for next year, and so it is coming. My current school is undergoing the redesign process in the state of Kansas. We're launching next year. So I went and observed a lot of other schools, and other schools that have gone through the redesign process, they have a lot of these traits. One of the big sayings that they kept telling us was slow is fast. So basically a small change, a slow change is super important. Slow is fast. Making any kind of change is progress. And then I myself am always looking to implement any new practice that is research-based and is proven to be effective. So I'm constantly learning about those and what I can do for my students. Some changes that I need to make, like I stated earlier, I'm working on the All Students Can Learn. I'm doing some research about it. Not all students want to learn. That's how I felt at the beginning of the year. But I am working on it. I'm doing more research on it, and I am moving towards the process of feeling like all students can learn. Decisive, this was something that I did struggle with a little bit as a head coach, was making sure that while I was taking risk, sometimes I didn't have the most confidence in the decision that I made, so I would kind of waver on that. And then sensitivity and understanding. I do struggle when I'm leading to not just see things as black and white. I do see things as just black and white, and so that gray area does tend to get me a little bit. So I need to work on that. And then supporting educational success. So all of these traits focus on how a leader can effectively support teachers and students. It was never about power. It was all about support. The entire school is a team, and everyone needs to work together. If you have these traits, then you have the ability to lead the entire schools towards success. And those are my references. So this is my presentation for Module 1. Thank you for watching.